Okay, today we have a deck from 1999 based on Yawgmoth's Bargain versus a deck from 2012, Green Infect. The Infect deck's pretty straightforward. Play little guys with Infect and pump them up and try and do 10 poison of damage within the first 4 turns or so before they get their blockers online. And then if you get stuck at 8 or 9 poison, hope that you can get an Inkmoth Nexus to fly over and finish them off. And you have some protection spells so they can't kill your guys. So the other deck, which is called ZviBargain, which is a deck based around Yawgmoth's Bargain. The Zvi is named after Zvi Moshwitz. Yawgmoth's Bargain is like Necropotence, except it costs 6, and it lets you just draw cards right away. And the way this deck works is you power out fast mana with Grim Monolith and Voltaic Keys, get your Yawgmoth's Bargain down, draw as many cards as you can without dying, play a Delusions of Mediocrity to gain 10 more life, and that's going to give you 10 more cards. Usually you need to wait to untap before you can do all this because you've totally tapped out to play Yawgmoth's Bargain. But on your next turn, then you just start drawing tons of cards, start playing around with mana, you get Dark Rituals, use Vampiric Tutor to get the cards you need. You turn about to untap, use Yawgmoth's Will to replay all the Dark Rituals in your graveyard and replay the turnabouts in your graveyard. And eventually you have a single copy of Blaze and you just blaze them in the face for 20 or more damage. That's how this deck works. In my experience, it's actually a very difficult deck to pilot.
Well, we're probably just not V himself.
Because the order that the cards come in has to totally change the path of your decisions, and you need to know exactly what to tutor for at the exact moment, and you have to use Scroll Rack intelligently, and it's crazy. And usually your life total is vanishing from being attacked by the other person, but since this particular matchup is against Infect, that's actually an advantage for Bargain. Because
I was just thinking,
Bargain wants to trade life for cards, and Bargain is not going to lose any life from Infect. So when you're playing against a mono red aggro deck, it's very hard because by the time you want to go off, you're at 8 life, and so you can only draw like 4 cards to go down to 4. Because then if you need the Vampiric Tutor, you lose 2 life to do that, and then you go down to 2, and then you have to lose a life to draw the card that you put on top of your deck. So when you're down to 8 life, this deck doesn't work as well anymore. So you have to get your mana online fast. You have Show and Tell to cheat out Yawgmoth's Bargain, which usually works fine. Although I remember in a past tournament, I played Show and Tell to put Bargain on, and you played Hero of Oxid Ridge with your mono red deck.
And just steamroll you afterwards.
And suddenly had Battle Cry, and on your next attack, you just did an extra, like 9 damage to me or something with the creatures that were already in play. So, yeah, Show and Tell is always a little risky, but this deck, when piloted well,
can win very fast.
It can be like a turn 3 win deck. The Infect deck against somebody who's not playing blockers is mindless. I mean, you just maximize.
These are both actually. I was just thinking, it's unfortunate. This is a fairly uninteractive matchup.
Yeah, I mean, totally uninteractive.
At least game 1, we're not really doing anything to each other. Like I'm trying to combo. You're pumping. Just who can run the other person over faster. There's literally like 0 interaction. I think I'd have to see your list.
And not only that, but because of the lack of blockers and removal spells, the Infect deck doesn't require any thought whatsoever. Just play spells in the correct order to do the maximum amount of damage. And these games, I mean, it's certainly going to go fast from my end, but there could be a lot of hemming and hawing. If you're like, if you're like at 5 poison and you'd really like to wait 1 more turn to go off, and you have to be like, well, is he going to kill me next turn, or can I wait a turn and then hopefully only be at 9 poison? But in general, the deck is when you try to go off, you kind of got to go off that turn. That's usually how it plays out. There are exceptions. Okay, so I rolled a 4.
Going first. I rolled 11 earlier.
So. That's good for you.
I got my hands. I'm ready to go. I rolled down to 6 and kept.
Okay, so let's see. I got a mulligan this. So this is tough. My first hand had no threats in it. You have to mulligan that because I have to win fast against a deck like yours. The second one is not a great hand either. Not crazy about this hand. Well, I think I have to keep this hand, so I'm going to keep this hand.
No. Okay, City of Rest, and then it's your go.
All right, well, see, and then you don't even care about the damage you take from that. All right, I got a good card draw, so that's good. Your turn.
I will play City of Traders, take a damage, play Show and Tell.
Oh, and I have nothing to put into play, except for what, a fort? Can I put a land? Yeah, I can play a forest. Oh, that's a great show and tell for you.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's how it works. He can go off on turn 3. There's almost nothing I can do about it. But he might wait because he's got time.
Actually, I'm going to do some other stuff too. I was just thinking this is somewhat relevant. Play Mox Diamond, pitching Root Water Depths. And you know what? I might as well start paying life now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll pay one more life. It's so freeing to do this because it's funny despite you being a pump deck, that I know you're not going to do anything to me.
Yeah, that's what's weird. Against mono red, it's really terrifying to get low in life, but against Infect, you don't care.
Okay, I'll tap the Mox Diamond and play Voltaic Key.
All right, so I gotta hope that something malfunctions for him because. So, Mark doesn't know what we're talking about here, but I think I need to play this now instead of this because this actually doesn't significantly speed up his clock. But if I get a lucky draw next turn, there might be hope. So that's what we got to go for because I'm feeling like I'm about to lose this game. I'm going to attack you in Titanic Growth to do 5 poison. Yeah, that's my decision. Go ahead.
Okay, my turn. Untap, upkeep. Skip my draw stuff actually. Sorry, and I'm gonna be tanking here for like a good 10 minutes because I gotta.
Sure. So that's the way this deck works: is one person twiddles their thumbs and the other person plays with their cards.
1, 2. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I already did 2. That's fine. I'll tell you what in my hand. I already have a lot of delusions in my hand. I have 1 turnabout in hand, and I've got a scroll rack in hand, so I can like get a new hand from my old hand.
And it's going to cost you a life every time you play turnabout because it's blue for that turnabout, right? Yeah. What I usually do is just draw as many cards as I can with delusions of mediocrity, and then I decide what to do after I've drawn, 20 cards or something like that. Getting delusions of mediocrity gains you 10 cards, and sometimes the problem is mana. So
that's the problem for me right now. I actually have double delusions in hand, so that's not as big of a problem. But I have like.
But you have no way.
I don't have a Grim Monolith yet.
Right.
I was thinking of if I tutor for anything, I'd go for a Grim Monolith right now.
You get a Grimmy, which will still let you play delusions. All right, I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Vamp tutor, pay 2 life. And get a Grimmy. Check my library.
It goes on
3rd
top,
life,
so.
that'll go into my hands. I think I'll play it too. City Traders. Okay, then do.
So now that's 5 mana.
Okay. Yeah, now I'm getting more into good shape here. Yeah. 3 colorless floating. I can actually mark my mana over here, so I'll do it. 3 colorless down to 1 colorless to play another Grim Monolith.
Oh, wow, you got another Grim. Okay.
Yeah, I drew 1. I'm in much better shape now. Do it again. Draw a card. Live. See, now I'm hitting gas. I think you're in Troublesville right now. I will use that 1 floating mana to play another Voltaic Key.
So this could be the turn 3 win, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I'll draw another card. And I think I think I got Delusion. I have to turn about, but I think I Delusions before I scroll rack. I want to get as much as I can. So 3 colorless.
And Voltaic can untap the Mox Diamond for that other blue.
2 colorless. So, yeah. I got 2 colorless floating here. I'll play a Mox Diamond, pitching a City of Brass. 3 more colorless. Use 1 of it to Voltaic Key and Mox and make another blue mana with it. So I have 4 colorless, 2 blue. Maybe too early, but I'll play Turnabout. Go down to 2 colorless and just untap basically everything except for City of Traders. Now we're gonna go to 5 colorless blue and then go down to 1 colorless.
Yeah, 1 more cycle and I'm dead.
Go down to 0 for Voltaic Key.
Okay.
Black, Vamp Tutor. It's gonna be 3 life essentially. Get another turnabout. Turnabout's in hand.
Now I think you have me.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep drawing. Obviously, 1. Interesting. 2 colorless. Down to 1 colorless. Keep drawing. Yeah. Turn Problemsville now. On a 0 color. Get my last voltaic key out. 1, 2, 3 colorless. Down to 2 colorless. 5 colorless.
4.
3, 2. Untap these guys. Float 3 colorless. 2 blue, which I will spend along with 2 colorless. Play turnabout again for artifacts.
All right, so you only netted 3 colorless there. Interesting. 5, 10, 15, 17. Yeah, you've got 17. You got it. You just hit me for 20 right now.
I can do it.
Yeah, so each Grim and Voltaic combo is 5 mana.
3, 4, 5.
Oh, actually, I've got 9. Oh, and you've already got 3 floating. Yeah.
8.
You've got 3 floating.
11.
Yeah.
10. 13. 12.
15.
14. 17.
Plus 3 floating.
Plus
is
3
20.
floating is 20.
And then red.
Red.
Blaze me for 20. All right, that's how bargain works. Turn 3 wins. It doesn't always happen though. That was a little lucky. You had the show and tell and the bargain on turn.
It was nice.
On turn 2, that's the hard part, is having the right cards. Now for the sideboarding.
See, knowing your deck, it's kind of interesting. I probably actually side in Disenchant in order to kill Spellskite.
Yeah, you have to. I like destroying artifacts too. The Viridian Corruptor.
I'm thinking of what I board in. I just don't know fully what I board out. I board in our Darkar Wastes.
You definitely do the Masticore. You do.
Yeah, and I took out a land for that. I put in Masticore.
Disenchant.
Yep. Put the double Disenchant. That's
Perish.
maybe too aggressive.
Perish is good. Oh, Energy Fields. I do have a Mental Misstep, which is kind of interesting for your Vampiric Tutor.
And also for Voltaic Key and Dark Ritual.
Yeah.
So I need to side out 5 more cards. So far I've sided out 1 land because I'm putting in 1.
Yeah, that deck is so tight. Sorry. It's hard to know what to take out.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking I don't want to side out any Mox Diamonds or Grim Monoliths or Voltaic Keys.
I guess you could put in one. You could put in 1 Disenchant, just in case I get the Spellskite. You can search for it. Okay, so we're back, but we've changed appearances because we had to resume this match on a different day.
Can't say it that way. Just say we always change appearances between games.
Oh yeah, we just needed a quick 5 minutes to change our clothes.
Sweating so much because we're so nervous, we just gotta.
I heard a story once about the filmmaker Errol Morris. He had a meeting with Robert Redford once, and he was so confused because apparently Robert Redford kept leaving the room and coming back in a different outfit every 5 minutes, just compulsively changing his outfit. I guess he was like, do you like me like this? Do you like me like this? What if I'm like this? Just some weird neurotic actor thing, I guess, at the top level of acting where they're just gonna keep chameleon shifting every 5 minutes to try and impress the director. And he just thought it was super weird. Okay, so I will keep.
I will try and mulligan again. All right. I'm good to go.
Forest, Glistener Elf, go.
Okay, I'll play Underground River and...
Wow. Okay. This might change my decision here. Attack you for 2.
Take a damage. Play Dark Ritual. 3 black. 2 to play Scroll Rack.
The Scroll Rack, which you cited some of them out, so that's fine.
3rd to activate it.
Oh, okay. Dark Ritual, Scroll Rack, activate Scroll Rack. So he's digging. He doesn't like his hand.
Yeah, I'll get rid of my hand actually. 5 deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Swamp, and I'll pass turn to you.
Untap, draw. Attacking for 2.
Taking 2.
Play this and say go.
Yeah, I think you got me this game. I feel pretty dead here. Draw. Scroll Rack for 5 again. So nothing. Play an Underground River and pass turn to you.
Okay, so Exalted plus a Titanic Growth. Is that enough?
Means I'm dead.
All right.
Yeah. My opening hand was what was it? I had Show and Tell, Bargain, a land, a Mox Diamond, and a Dark Ritual. So if I top deck a land on that turn, I play a land, Mox Diamond, and Ritual, and I still have blue in order to play Show and Tell and Yawgmoth's Bargain, right? If I had gotten a land, but I didn't see a second land for like, a turn or two. Then I was like, you know what? It could be a while with scroll rack and check for where my next land is, and it was actually super deep. Basically, I didn't have enough lands. I kept the 1 land hand, which seemed pretty viable as long as I get 1 more lands. But
okay, here we go. Game 3. Game 3. You're on the play. I have to mulligan. Well,
I don't know if yeah.
This is I'm getting terrible hands now. So
Yeah,
this is a little sad.
now I'm getting the same thing.
All
Like
right,
my first
well-
hand was, both hands have had problems so far. Let's put it that way.
2 terrible hands against each other.
Yeah, it's pretty much what's going on.
I'm going to keep it risky.
I'm keeping it semi-risky here too. All right, Crystal Vein, go.
Go ahead.
Underground River, go.
Your turn.
It seems too risky too far so far.
Well, I haven't attacked you yet. It's turn 3.
City Brass.
Oh, you know what? I didn't put a card. I didn't put a card back when I kept my mulligan. So
You remember the cards you drew?
yeah. Okay. All right. Now we're restored.
Go ahead.
All right. Turn 3. That's 2 with the Exalted, and that's 6. Yeah. There you go.
Turn.
Yeah.
And step, I'll take a damage, play Intuition. It's gonna be 2 Grim Monoliths in the graveyard, which hurts pretty bad, and 1 in the hand. I think I passed turn to here and hope you don't have a pump spell.
Okay. There's the pump spell.
I'm dead.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
so maybe that was decisions. So my opening hand was like amazing. It was like Show and Tell, Dark Ritual, like all this ramp you wanted to have. But I had no Yawgmoth's Will, and I had no way to tutor for it. Sorry, no Yawgmoth's Bargain.
No bargain.
So I was like, well, maybe I switch up. And the current hand I had like almost no ramp, but it had Bargain and it had Intuition. So I was like, well, okay, so I go in Intuition for Grimmy if I don't get ramp before that.
So next turn you could play bargain.
Yeah, next turn was Bargain. I had it in hand.
All right, so next turn you might have been able to go off, although you would be totally tapped out, so you'd have to find a lot of Mox Diamonds and keys and stuff. I had a 1-land hand with no forest. I had a Cathedral of War.
You said you were risking it, and then you like top deck the forest on like turn 1 or turn 2.
Yeah. So, and I kept it because I figured, well, even if I get an Ink Moth, I have the Ichor Mirror, so I at least can drop a threat as soon as I get another land. But if I had missed several land drops, every land drop I missed was just you getting a free turn. So that was a very risky keep that only worked out because I drew a land. All right, well, Bargain is out. Infect advances. Bargain is really hard. Do you agree that Bargain is hard to pilot?
It's hard to pilot, but I've sometimes thought of this for the difference that separates the pros from the Joes, and we're more on the Joe end of the spectrum, I'd say, you and me. I think a huge part of it is mulligan decisions, looking at a hand, and especially it's not just mulligan decisions in a vacuum, but also against a certain deck, knowing, can I keep this hand, or do I need to send it back?
It really changes based on what you know about your opponent. So turn 1 mulligans in a tournament where if you don't have intel, whatever, you just do math. But once you know the deck you're playing, and in our format, we always know the deck lists.
How do you mulligan super aggressively, or is this just like, you can keep a moderately playing hand and you want the more cards? Like I just told you about the mulligan decision. It does showcase the somewhat volatility of this deck. I mean, the deck, it didn't even have a terrible hand. It was sort of working out, right? I mean, I was getting around to like, I would have played a Bargain on turn 4.
It was just slow. It was just a little slower than usual. Yeah. And if I had not drawn lands, it would have been fine. I kept it because I had 2 mental missteps. So I thought that would maybe you would get a good start on me and I would be slow, but then you would try to tutor and I'd stop you. And then you would try to tutor and I would stop you.
The Intuition was my tutor, and then like I was playing all expensive stuff. So. Yeah.
I mean, I think Bargain can beat any mid-range deck. It's just those old combo decks are insane, but its weakness is really fast aggro decks because it just it's unlike Academy or Memory Jar. It usually needs a couple extra turns to set up. Although you did get a turn 3 win one time, but
yeah, no, that was insane.
But you don't usually get those. Yeah. So I mean, the way that deck works is it's a scramble.
4.
The first few turns are usually a scramble to find the pieces you need, and there's a lot of pieces. when an aggro deck and a combo deck get bad hands, I think the aggro deck usually wins.
That's
When
probably better for you.
when a combo deck gets bad hands, you don't do anything.
You had a more. It's bad hand and bad hand. You had the hand where it's like if you get forced, you're in very good shape, right?
Well, any bad hand can be fixed by the perfect 3 top decks, right? So.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like if I had gotten like I don't know, a dark ritual or something in there, I would have been in much better shape.
All right. Well, Bargain has not been doing well in our tournaments. It's just been it's so struggling against all these fast aggro decks, which of course didn't exist. I mean, the mono red build that everyone remembers from back then, which was awesome then, is not nearly as good as the mono red builds from these days. Like a 1999 mono red is not.
You might have lightning bolts, but your creatures are way smaller.
It played 2/2s for 2s that had drawbacks. I mean, it didn't even. Yeah, it was not the kind of aggro decks that we have today. Anyway, okay. Till next time.